So I have an off-grid Rhino V2. Is that version 2? I don't know. But the interesting thing about this one, this is tan. So they come in a package like this. And when I opened the bubble pack that this was in, I cut this package. But oddly enough, I have two of these. And so we're going to check one in and not the other. And then one of them is going to get purged. But yeah, I ended up with two of these. And come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, so I just tore that package. So, I mean, I'll save it. We'll put one of these back in there. But they come with the off-grid stickers. Is this the same on the outside? It's actually a different box. I'm looking at it right now. The box is, the look here is a little different. So I don't know if one's newer than the other or what's going on. But I do know that this one is black. So I got a black one. Look at this thing. Golly. Man, these off-grid knives. Whew. Let's get that blade out. You want to see it? I do. Look at this thing. Wow. So I think one of the things that they talk about on their website, this is a direct to consumer business. They don't sell their stuff through distributors. You are not going to find their stuff at any of the knife distributor sites. They sell direct. Now, you can find it off of their site on Amazon. So they do sell on Amazon, but that's them. They obviously they're reaching a wider audience, but they've got to pay a premium for that. If you sell on Amazon, you got to pay Amazon. And so, I mean, I can just say right out of the gate, you should buy from them direct. I mean, I don't have anything against Amazon. I mean, I have an affiliate account at Amazon. I could list all these knives and use my affiliate listing, whatever. But I don't run like that. I'm not down like that. I don't care. But I do like their knives, which, I mean, kind of means that I sort of like them. I don't know them. I don't have a conversation with them. Maybe they're horrible people, man. I don't know. I don't think they are, but I like their knives. And so, in general, if I got to pick, I'm for them. You know what I mean? Because I like their knives. I do like what I'm seeing on their website as well. They're pro-military, veteran, different things. Yeah, so the Rhino V2, look at this thing. And then the only thing I didn't understand here is that I got one sticker. But they come with a little catalog that lists their knives. They don't have, pardon me, they don't have hundreds of models of knives. And so they list them all. Yeah, see here I got a black sticker and a white sticker. And then the same catalog. So, I don't know. I don't know why I got a black one and a white one on that one. But, pretty cool. Alright, so let's get this one out of the bag. And look at it. It's exactly the same, has the same G10, and the texture on this G10, I think it shows better on this knife because of the lighter, but it's It's a deep texture. Very grippy. And then the texture of the rest of the G10 is very grippy as well. I mean, it's wonderful stuff. But this one has like a gray coating on all the steel, where, you know, the blacked out version, obviously it's got a black blade and all the steel has been blacked out. Where this one's gray against this, is that tan, I think? But same knife. They're both in 154 cm steel. Yep. So I'm going to check one in. I'll put the other one back in the bag and put it away. And then I'm going to purge one. I don't know which one I'm going to purge, but I'm only going to check one of them in. The other one I'm just going to put back in the bag. And so I think the one I'm going to check in is this one. And the reason that I'm going to do it, I'll reveal here shortly. Yeah, so let's, without further ado, or whatever I'm doing, let me put this one back into its cocoon. It's got this bag. And then I think that I can get it back in this bag. I tore the bag because it's a pretty flimsy bag. It's not a thick shipping bag. I think it's just some limited protection for the box, right? So the box doesn't get all jacked up. And then the one sticker, not the two stickers. The other one's got two stickers. And then it's got a little sticky part there. All right, so I'm going to get this one off the bench, and I'm going to focus on this one, which I'm going to get all this off the bench too, so that we're focusing solely on the knife. I don't know, maybe you care about the packaging. Unfortunately, I don't much. I mean, they could have just sent this in a plastic bag or wrapped it in a paper towel, and I'd have been just as happy. Got a little lock stick on this one, sticking a little bit. Well, let's get in it. I'm looking at it. There's only one side to get in. This side has a rivet look, which I like, and it makes sense to me. Like, why mill this to, if it's captured, there's no reason to hold this down. Looks like T8s everywhere else. Reversible. Now that's T6s for the pocket clip, T8s for the body. So I'm pretty sure these would be T6s as well. But only one spot for the pivot. So we know we're getting it from the right side. It's got some white Loctite material on it, but it broke free. Came apart pretty easy. Get the rest of these T8 body screws. Looks like I'm gonna need 2 screwdrivers for that. T8. Yeah, so I'm guessing there's a barrel spacer in there, which, if we're just coming off the one end, kind of inconsequential. Let's see if we come apart. Ooh, there's some lock stick going on there. I'm gonna have to address that. Yeah, this one's giving me grief. Let's get the blade out of the way so I don't cut myself. What a big old chunk of 154 that is. The pivot shows that it's locked, but it is not locked into that scale. Is it locked into this scale? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, so we got barrel spacers and screws. All the screws got Loctite on them. That's kind of cool. I need to get this screw. Or that's not a barrel spacer. Look at that. That is the stop pin. Look at the size of that thing. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so they're all just spinning on those barrels now. I'm gonna have to deal with that maybe if I'm gonna do a complete disassembly. But everything looks pretty good in here. I think I'm gonna wipe it down. I don't see anything necessarily concerning the coating that's on here. The detent ball looks like it's cut a path, but they clearly protected the blade surface where the bearings are going to run so that it doesn't have that coating on it, so they didn't have to cut through that. The bearing here on this scale is cutting through, and this scale as well. Which, you know, it's going to impact the action until it truly cuts in. You know, one of the things I can do is I can tighten that up a little bit and then rotate it while it's tight, and it'll help those bearings cut through that coating. Got everything wiped down except the bearings and the pivot. There we go. Pretty simple. Okay. Okay. So a towel, some pliers, and I was able to get all these barrel spacers off and then completely disassemble the knife, get all these screws out, and, you know, and of course, there's a bunch of oil underneath there. But as some of you that follow the channel regularly may suspect, there's another reason why I did that. It wasn't to get that oil. It's because I am going to dye this one. I'm going to dye this up. And I think I'm going to go purple. I'm going to go like next to black purple, and I think it'll look really good against this gray coating. Yep, and so I'm going to bug out here, and the next time that, you know, in a flash, like a millisecond here, when I pop back in, these scales will be dyed up, and we'll be going for reassembly. So, yeah. Now, I will say, before I go, I'm not sure which one I'm going to purge. I'm thinking that what I might do is, when I list it to purge it, I may let the first person that pops in and says, hey, I'll take the black one, or hey, I'll take the purple one, that's the one that goes. The first one to jump in. And then the other one stays. So it's kind of like, user's choice type deal. You know what I mean? Like, I won't pick which one I'm going to keep. I'm not saying I'm going to do that though, because once I dye this, it may make up my mind for me. Because I get to keep the one I want. You know what I mean? I may, as soon as I dye this, I may go, yeah, no, I'm keeping that purple. All right. Well, I'll be back. Blink your eyes and I'll be back. All right. So step one, I'm not going to go through the whole dye process, but it's been a while since I've done any. But step one is some super hot water, and then for me, Dawn dish soap. And just really scrub these parts really well, because I want all the grease and oils to be off of the pieces. Because any foreign grease or oil can show up in the dye work, you know, once you're dyeing it. I also find that just the water, as hot as I can stand it, is important as well, because it helps lift oils. And that's what I'm trying to get off here, is the oils and any foreign material. Now, obviously, I don't care as much about the inside, you know what I mean? But I'll scrub it too, just so I don't contaminate the dye. But you know, hey, when I'm dyeing now, I can tell you that when I first did it, and I'm one of these guys, like, you know, man, there's a process, and, you know, following the process and being really accurate, and, you know, I'm the same way with sharpening. You know, once I kind of figured it out, you know, I'm sloppy, and it's the same here. Like, I don't put near the work into dyeing, the prep work and the dyeing that I did in the beginning, you know, when I first started doing it. You know, there was a lot of the work that I put in the prep work, like using acetone and clean, you know, and doing all these steps. And of course, as I progressed, my laziness is revealed. I get the same results, and I don't have to be that detailed, you know. So there, I mean, you know, I didn't even, you know, when I cleaned them before, I never touched them again. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not going to touch them. Well, I figured out, my laziness has figured out that don't make any difference. It's not affecting the work at all. And then I've got my little holder here. So I'm going to hang both of them on this holder. This is actually a wire from a property flag. And then I'll also put this backstop on. Yep, I think I'm going to put this backstop on first. Nah, it's fine. I'm just going to stick it on there. It'll be all right. Be all right. There we go, just like that. And so, of course, I'll hang these in the dye, and I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, so I've got my water heating up here, and here's my scales getting ready to go in the dye. But like I said, I'm not going to do the whole thing about dyeing, but it's been a while. So here's what I did. I bought a whole case of these mason jars. And when I say a whole case, I think this costs like $12. But then in this case of mason jars, and this is where I keep my dye, I mean, I know a lot of guys that do this. They take the RIT dye and they put it in the pan, and then, you know, they mix a batch. And so what I do is I mix the dye, the different colors in these mason jars, and then I just leave it in the jar. So this is teal, and I just leave it in the jar. Now when it sits, a lot of the pigment goes to the bottom, so I gotta, you know, shake them up when I put them in use. But then I've got yellow here, and then I've got a pink over here that is a really nice red as well. And they're, you know, I just mix them in the jar. Now I've got a couple more jars that I can put in here, but I just store them in this box, and I pull them out when I use them. So I'm gonna use this purple, and if I look at the bottom, all the pigment's at the bottom. And so, you know, I'll shake that up, and you can see that the pigments, you know, mixes pretty easily. And so then what I do is I take this jar, I'll mix that up a little bit, And of course, you know, mixing the dye, it's no different whether it's in here or it's in the pan, you know, whether you mix it. A little bit of dish soap goes in there with it, and then you mix your dye. Well, I mean, by doing it this way, I don't have to, you know, pour it into something and pour it back, you know, back and forth. I mix it in the jar, and then when I'll set the jar in there and heat the whole jar up. When the jar starts steaming, then I'll set my pieces in there and let them dye in here. When I'm done, I let it cool off. I wipe it all down, and I put it back in a box, and I store the box. So that's kind of how I do it. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this cap off of this one, make sure that we're mixed, and I'm going to set it in this pan. Now, I use a little more water doing it this way because I got to heat that whole pan of water. But man, what I figured out, you know, as far as the mess and the fuss, and you know, like I don't even use gloves anymore because I'm never touching anything. So then that just sits in there, and if you look now in this big pot, I used to use a little pot too. Well, the water level is the same level as the dye. And so it's heating all that dye at the same time. And I used to use a little pan, and it only covered about half of that jar. So anyways, I'm going to heat that up, and then once it's hot, I'm going to set this down inside it and let it dye. All right? So that's what I'm doing. That's my whole process. And then I pull it out, I'll check it occasionally, and see if I'm at the color I want. And then so I'm not walking across my kitchen with these, I can just rinse them in that water, right? Like I can rinse that dye in there and then put a paper towel underneath it, and it's just water. I don't have dye anywhere. Yeah, so, I mean, it works pretty slick, but I'll be back. Let's let it heat up. Okay, so we're at quite the boil here, and the dye is plenty warm, so I'm going to go ahead and set this in there. And I just want to make sure that they're submerged. There we go. The back spacer's kind of poking its head up. You know, I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to that. And of course, the water I'm gonna add it from the pan so that it's hot. Come on, man. Scoot over just a hair. All right, well that was a debacle. Let me do that. Okay, so I got some water added to it. It's like a freaking clown circus, man. What are we doing? All right. Well, so now I'm just going to let it go because I really am looking for dark purple. And now this wire is going to get hot, so I've learned I'll grab it with something. But I do need to move it around every 5 minutes or so. Just so that, like, wherever the scale is touching the glass, just that slight touch, if it's sitting there, will affect that color. So, yeah, so we're going to dye. Maybe I'll come back, we'll look at it again here in a minute. All right, should we take a look? Let's see where we're at. I mean, pretty purpley. What do you think? Yeah, they're very purple. But I'm going to let them go because I am going for deep purple, like smoke on the water purple, highway star purple, that kind of thing. All right, we'll check back in a bit. Okay, I let them sit extended. Let's take a look. Yeah, see, that's the kind of purple I was talking about. Yeah, buddy. All right, I'm going to let them sit just for a couple of minutes so that I don't have a spot where they were touching, and then I'm going to pull them. And so the next time you pop in, we'll be reassembling. And here's the neat thing about doing this way too, is it's so simple for me to do this that I can do one knife. I used to, when I dyed, I used to, like, man, I do 10 knives all at one time because it was such a process. You know what I mean? Now, this jar, I'm going to move this to the back of the stove, let it cool off. Like I said, I'll wipe down that jar, put it back in the box, and then I'll just go store the box. Simple as could possibly be. All right, well, next time you see me, we'll be on the bench. Okay, we're back at the bench. And, the thing about dyeing or polishing metal, different things, is you just never know how it's going to turn out. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of part of the fun. I mean, yeah, I could have never have like wanted it to be any different. I mean, it this with this gray, I mean, you can already see it, right? Come on, man. Yeah, we're going to put this thing together. There's a couple of hickeys on the machining of the part, like the backspacer. It's on the sides, so you'll never see it. But there's a couple of little hickeys there. Yeah, kind of little odd spots. But, I mean, dyeing up scales like this isn't a perfect science, man. All right, let's get this thing back together. I'm excited to see the culmination, the vision that I had for this knife. I mean, I already kind of got to go. I don't think I'm going to let you get your hands on this one, y'all. Like, yeah, I don't know. If I can find my way to get it together. All right, so then I think what I'll do, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to put these little pocket clip screws back in on this side, because they'll automatically start to hold things down. Yep. Yeah, I mean, when I bought this one, I had it in my head, I think with that gray, the way that they've done it, that doing this up in purple is going to be stunning. It's too bad these gold backspacers don't show, right? Because that would have been a highlight for sure. Now, I should be, if I can get this started, yeah, I should be able to finish these by getting the other side in. You know what I mean? Like once I got the other side in, I should be able to tighten those up from opposite sides. So that's the plan. I'm not gonna grab these with pliers and a towel and do that again. I shouldn't have to, because once the screws are coming at each other from the other sides, we should be good to go. Yep. I mean, I'm excited, man. This purple on this gray. I'm digging it. I mean, and did that color need to be changed? No. I mean, it's just fine, especially for the workhorse that these off-grid knives are. I mean, they pride themselves. I should probably look at their site and see what it says, but listen, one of the things they say, look at this. Like, they don't even hesitate, they go, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realize that my camera had shut down. So we'll pick up here. I got the bearing on and the backspacer on, and I'm not sure when the camera shut down, but I'm not going back any farther than that. Yeah, so we lubed up this side, and we'll put this scale on. It happens. It happens. Oh my goodness, this thing's gonna look so good. That gray and that purple. Sound like I'm some kind of fashion designer or something, right? Get them all started. That way I can do them all at the same time. I feel like I'm missing a screw. There it is. Well, that one worked itself in there. I'm going to have to double dip those. Let's get the pocket clip on. I should have checked the tension on this before I took it off. Because now I'm going to put it back on, and if it doesn't have enough tension, I'm going to have to fix it. But the few off-grid knives that I have, I'll be shocked if it's not super tight. Not because it's something that I know that they take, that they pay attention to, but because these truly are overbuilt and wonderful. And oh yeah, that's got a ton of tension on it. All right, let's get these last couple of screws on these scales. Got to two-hand them. Next, I mean, these knives are such hogs, man. Golly. Let me check our detent, or the blade play. What about how free is my blade? Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to call it good. I'm going to say we're put together. And I'm giggling because, oh, is this thing nice. Look at it, man. Come on. Golly, this gray. I wonder what they call that coating. I should find out. These scales turned out so nice in that purple. Look at. Let's get rid of this towel. Let's get a good look at this thing. Backspacer's purple. I mean, transform the knife. Come on. It's beautiful. Look at that action. So good. Snappy. I don't think I can fail it. I'm going to try. Nah, no chance. Well, listen, let's finish checking this thing in. Let's talk about this action. Let me put a grade on it. Can't fail it. Super snappy. Drop shut. Centered blade. Lock access. We're lowered here and scalloped here, so easy to get in. Super simple to unlock. The detent is right there. Yeah. So I mean, you know, it's at this point I try to nitpick it and I go, well, what could make it better? And so I'm going to say this is a solid A. You know, like, I mean, it is just so nice. It runs really well. It unlocks really well. It drops shut. The flipper tab is, I mean, the way that they rounded it kind of makes it not so prominent, but it's big enough that, I mean, definitely just break the detent, that thing flies out there. Yeah, so at A level, let's talk about ergonomics. So just the molding in the handle, I mean, not so confident, confident, very confident. Well, this thing just goes whoop right on past confident and climbs up towards very confident. Really locked in here. Nice jimping on the spine, platform for the thumb to lock in. I mean, this is just a natural hand grip in a knife. It's so natural. You can power grip this right here. It's just as good and locked in behind this finger guard. It's wonderful. But this spot here, and then the reverse grip is just as nice. The hand fits perfectly in there. Very comfortable and very confident. Nice platform for the thumb. Yeah, not so much the reverse pical grip. But I mean, the ergonomics are stunning on this thing. Really wonderful in hand. And it's a handful. This is, I mean, it's a large piece. No question about it. This is a large knife. This pocket clip, I mean, I already know, I have no doubts this thing's going to run all the way down, deep carry. The knife is hidden, so there's no real reveal about what's underneath there. And this hole is going to allow to grab. I mean, this is a dryer pocket clip. You could put this in your pocket right there, throw it in the dryer, pull it out in 30 minutes, and it's still going to be there. And so, you know, the importance of that, and I say the same stuff over and over, but it's a new knife, new video. So the importance of that is if I put this in my pocket and then I go get in a struggle and I fly around on the ground and things are going on and I go reach back for this knife, it's going to be where I left it. It's going to be right there. If I need this knife, it's going to be where I put it. Now, is there a 1 in 1,000 chance that it gets snagged on something and flies out? Sure. But I mean, I can relatively be confident that this knife would be where I left it. It's got the little logo on the pocket clip too. I don't think I showed that before. Yep. Let's check it for safety. Can I get that blade? Nah, there's no blade contact there, and the tip is recessed. So the pocket clip's great, the tip's good, and I don't have any concerns about random blade contact when the knife is closed. When the knife is closed, this thing's safe. I can put my hands all over it without any concerns about making blade contact. I wonder if that blade's sharp. I mean, I already know. I already know. These guys are pros, man, and they put out, look at this thing. Yeah, stunning. Stunner. I mean, I would love to put a low angled edge on it and polish it up, but it comes with such a good edge that I absolutely am not going to do that. Yeah, so, wow. Price and availability. Where are they and how much? Okay, so this tan version is not available on Amazon. The black version is available on Amazon for $69, and you get it pretty quick. The tan version's not there. The tan version, however, is currently on a warehouse deal at the manufacturer's website, and that's offgridknives.com. Yep, all one word, offgridknives.com. And yeah, right here, offgridknives.com. They have the tan, this exact knife. Of course, it's not tan no more, but they have this exact knife at a warehouse deal for $59. Yep, 154 cm G10. Yep, $59. And I have to tell you, at $59, to me, if you need a hard use, heavy duty, capable knife, I mean, man, I don't know. This one's right up there. It is all that for sure. Now, the one that I have, um, the one that I'm going to purge is probably the black one. You just have to wait to see the purge. Maybe I'll do the purple one. I don't think so, but you never know. Um, but it'll probably be at that same $59 price, that kind of thing. Because normally it's a lot more than $59. But yeah, hey, I appreciate you watching. It has been a long video, but hopefully it was entertaining. Appreciate y'all hanging out.